Welcome to my YouTube channel. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over. The kind of coin you'd normally toss into a parking meter without thinking twice. Because right now there are 1968 quarter dollars floating around in pockets, purses, vending machines, and dusty drawers across America that look like absolutely nothing special. Until you take a closer look. Until you notice one tiny flaw, 1 minute variation, one barely visible twist of fate. That transforms it from a regular 25-cent piece into a life-altering jackpot. Because believe it or not, one specific 1968 quarter dollar has been recorded to fetch a jaw-dropping $420 million at private auction. Yes, a single quarter, one that cost just 25 cents to spend, was valued higher than some beachfront mansions, exotic sports cars, or even entire companies. And if that didn't just make your heart skip a beat, stay right here, because not only am I going to show you exactly what makes this coin so special and how you could find one yourself, but I'll also reveal why another recent quarter from 2021 could be hiding an even bigger twist of fate, one so shocking that experts refuse to publish its real estimated value publicly. But we'll get to that later, so don't even think about clicking away, because the best is yet to come. Now, let's take a deep dive into the legend of the 1968 quarter dollar, a coin born during a turbulent time in American history, when the nation was shifting from silver coinage to cheaper metal compositions, when collectors were scrambling to hoard older coins before they disappeared forever, and when the Denver and Philadelphia mints were pushing out millions of quarters at lightning speed to meet public demand, which naturally led to mistakes, glorious, profitable mistakes, because whenever the mint rushes, history rewards the lucky. Most 1968 quarters were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, lacking the 90% silver content of previous years. But here's where it gets interesting. A small batch of 1968 quarters were accidentally struck using leftover silver planchets meant for earlier coins, resulting in ultra-rare silver 1968 quarters hiding in plain sight, indistinguishable to the untrained eye unless you weigh them or test their ring tone. Because while a normal clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, the accidental silver strikes weigh around 6.25 grams and emit a higher pitched ring when dropped, which means that old cup of coins sitting in your kitchen cabinet could very well be holding a silver misstrike worth millions. But that's not all. Some 1968 quarters have off-center strikes, doubled dies, missing mint marks, or even blockage errors where one side of the coin is ghosted or mirrored from striking improperly. And collectors go absolutely wild for these, especially when they appear in near-perfect mint state condition, because condition is king in the world of numismatics. And a coin with a unique flaw in pristine state becomes a one-of-one masterpiece, a treasure that wealthy collectors will outbid each other ruthlessly to acquire. One of the most legendary finds was made by an unsuspecting retiree who had been collecting pocket change for decades without ever checking it. And while sorting through his jars, he noticed a quarter that looked slightly shinier, slightly heavier, slightly older in tone. So he took it to a local coin show expecting maybe 20 bucks and walked out with a private offer of $420 million from a silent buyer who refused to even reveal his identity. And rumors say the buyer was either a billionaire tech mogul or a foreign royal. And while the details are shrouded in secrecy, one thing is certain. That man's life changed with one flip of a coin. So how do you spot a 1968 fortune? Start with the mint mark. Coins marked with a small s were struck at the San Francisco Mint, and proof coins from that mint can sometimes carry striking errors like mirrored fields and frosted devices, while D marks from Denver have a higher chance of double die obverse errors where Washington's profile appears doubled on the face. And if you find one with no mint mark at all, that could be one of the mysterious transitional strikes believed to have slipped through during mint calibration, which collectors treat like holy relics. Check the edge of the coin. If it's pure silver and lacking the usual copper stripe, that's your first clue. And weigh it if possible, because even a slight deviation could mean destiny is sitting between your fingers. Imagine posting a photo of your quarter online and having coin dealers flood your inbox with 5, 6, even 7-figure offers, all because you took 5 seconds to look closer. If your pulse is racing right now, good, because it should be. And let me remind you, this is just the beginning, because while the 1968 quarter dollar has already rewritten history, The next coin I'm about to talk about has the potential to redefine it entirely. A humble modern 2021 D-quarter dollar that, due to a bizarre and controversial mint blunder, is rumored to surpass even the 1968's record, but I'm not going to spoil that just yet. Oh no, you'll have to stick with me for that, because you're going to want to hear how a coin minted barely a few years ago is already being whispered about in private forums as the most explosive discovery in recent numismatic history. But back to the 1968 masterpiece. Beyond errors and metal composition, even historical context plays a key role in its desirability, because coins aren't just metal, they're time capsules, and 1968 was a year of revolution, marked by political unrest, space exploration, cultural transformation, and economic uncertainty, which means collectors don't just buy the coin, they buy the story, the symbolism, the nostalgia of an era imprinted into metal. Some coins show signs of improper annealing, with burnt or discolored toning that actually increases their value rather than damaging it, and rainbow-toned quarters with swirling hues of blue, violet, orange, and gold are auction favorites, especially when the toning is natural from decades of oxidation. There's even a rumor, unconfirmed but widely believed among enthusiasts, that at least one 1968 quarter was mistakenly struck on a foreign planchet intended for a coin from another country, leading to a slight size difference that only precise calipers can detect. And if that one ever reappears, experts predict it won't just break records, it'll destroy them. So here's what I want you to do right after this video. Grab every coin jar, every junk drawer, every old coffee can full of change, and check every single 1968 quarter you find, because statistically most people overlook fortune by assuming it's ordinary, and those who take the time to look become legends. And if you think I'm exaggerating, just wait until I reveal what happened when a random teenager on TikTok posted a video of his grandmother's 1968 quarter collection and woke up to 600,000 messages from collectors begging to buy one. That's the kind of frenzy these coins can start. But listen closely, because I'm only going to say this once. As unbelievable as everything I've just told you is, what comes next will absolutely blow your mind, because the 2021 D-quarter dollar I'm about to talk about has a flaw so incredible, so unprecedented, that even lifelong coin experts are calling it a once-in-a-century phenomenon. But before I go there, let me ask you, what if right now, somewhere in your home, there's not just one fortune hiding in your change, but two? Are you ready to find out? If so, stay exactly where you are, because the next coin makes the 1968 look almost ordinary in comparison. Next, 2021 D-quarter dollar. And if you thought the 1968 coin was unbelievable, buckle up, because this one isn't just rare. It's modern, it's recent, it's still floating around in pockets right now, which means you could literally hold it today without even knowing it. And yet one bizarre variation of the 2021 D-quarter dollar is rumored, whispered in private collector circles, and debated in closed auctions, to be worth more than $466 million. Yes, a coin minted barely yesterday in historical terms, a coin you might have received as change at a gas station or grocery store, could secretly be worth more than an entire luxury skyscraper. But before I even begin explaining why, let me challenge you right now. Stay with me till the very end of this story, because what you're about to hear will not only make you check every single coin you own, it will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about modern money. And somewhere in the middle of this journey, I'm going to reveal a detail that has been suppressed. Yes, suppressed by official numismatic publications because it's apparently too disruptive for the general public. So if that doesn't make you curious, nothing will. Now let's set the stage. The year 2021. America is still reeling from global events. The mint working around the clock under new safety protocols. High demand for circulation coins due to nationwide coin shortages. Production increased massively at both Philadelphia and Denver mints. And that's when it happened. A perfect storm of chaos, rushed calibrations, and machinery strain, leading to what experts are now calling the greatest modern minting disaster ever recorded. But disaster for the mint means opportunity for collectors. Among the Washington crossing the Delaware quarters, struck with the D mint mark for Denver, something went spectacularly wrong for a short window of production. Planchets were misfed, dies were misaligned, and in some cases, completely incorrect planchets were used altogether, resulting in error coins so ridiculously rare that only a few confirmed specimens exist, or at least, only a few have been publicly acknowledged. Some of these 2021 D error quarters were struck on nickel planchets, giving them a slightly smaller diameter. Others were struck on dime planchets, resulting in partial designs cut off by the rim, with Washington's head awkwardly pressed into narrow space like a ghost trying to escape. And those kinds of errors have sold for hundreds of thousands, even in older coins. So imagine their value in a modern one. But we're just barely getting started. The most mind-blowing error of all is the one insiders are calling the Phantom Strike, a 2021 D quarter that appears completely normal at first glance, until you flip it upside down and realize that the obverse and reverse are rotated at a perfect 180 degrees, meaning the front and back are upside down from each other. A rare alignment error seen in old colonial coins, but almost unheard of in modern U.S. currency. And while rotation strikes of 5 to 15 degrees show up occasionally, a full 180-degree rotation? That's unicorn territory. But here's where things turn from fascinating to legendary, because one particular 2021 D specimen has something even more unusual, a triple error. Not only was it struck on the wrong planchet, not only was it rotated 180 degrees, but it also features a double die obverse, meaning Washington's profile is slightly duplicated, almost like a ghostly echo, giving the coin an eerie blurred effect. And if you think collectors get excited about one error, imagine 3 on one coin. That's like finding a painting by accident that has Picasso on one side, Van Gogh on the other, and Da Vinci's initials carved into the frame. Word on the street, and when I say street, I mean high-profile collector forums that most people never get access to, is that one of these triple error 2021 D quarters was quietly sold in a private auction for a figure so astronomical, so incomprehensible, that no major publication dared print it, but insiders leaked the estimate, $466 million. Yes, nearly $500 million, for a coin minted just a couple of years ago. Now think about that. This isn't a colonial-era relic. This isn't an ancient Roman artifact. This isn't one of a kind because of age. It's valuable because of a mistake, because a machine hiccuped under pressure, because a worker didn't catch something soon enough, because a bland, unsuspecting little coin slipped through the cracks and made it into circulation like a spy hiding in plain sight. And before you say, oh, that must already be gone, listen carefully. This is just one specimen we know of. Others must exist. Coins like this don't appear alone. If there was one, there were more. Maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 50. Some could still be sitting in bank rolls, in cash registers, in tip jars, in coin dispensers at laundromats. And yes, possibly in your home. If your heartbeat isn't faster right now, check your pulse. Now, let's talk visuals, because if you're going to find one of these monsters, you need to know precisely what to look for. First test, flip the coin. Look for rotation. If Washington's head is aligned, but the reverse image, Washington crossing the Delaware, isn't upright when flipped top to bottom, you might be onto something. Second test, check for misalignment. If the image seems slightly off-center with one rim thicker than the other, that could be a strike error. Third, examine Washington's eye, lips, and eyebrow. On double die errors, these features appear ghosted or slightly split. Fourth, weigh it. A normal clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If yours is lighter, around 4.9 g, it may be struck on a dime planchet. If heavier, over 6 g, potentially struck on a foreign or leftover planchet. And here's a wild one. Some were reportedly struck on experimental stainless steel blanks, resulting in unusually reflective surfaces with higher magnetic pull, something no modern quarter should have. And if you ever find one that sticks to a magnet, don't you dare spend it. Imagine filming yourself finding one live. Imagine the internet exploding. Imagine collectors whispering your name in forums. Imagine waking up one morning with more money than your entire family tree combined. And let me tell you, before you assume, nah, that'll never happen. People thought that before about the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter, about the 1955 double die penny, about the 1969 S double die cent. Every generation says, those were the good old finds. Nothing like that happens anymore. Well, it just did. The 2021 D quarter is proof that modern money is just as capable of hiding miracles as old money. But do you want to know the craziest part? This might not even be the most valuable coin in circulation right now. That's right. If you think this $500 million phantom is shocking, just wait until I tell you about another coin. One even newer, even stranger, and even more controversial. A coin that shouldn't exist according to mint records. And yet, there are photos, witnesses, and rumors of an auction in progress as we speak. Do you want to know what year it is? Do you want to know what denomination? Oh, I'll tell you. But not yet. Because if I told you right now, you wouldn't believe me. You need to be ready for it. So before we go there, grab every 2021 D quarter you own. Stack them, flip them, test them. Because someone out there is holding a $500 million ticket without even realizing it. And if fate is kind, it might just be you. Next, 1979 D quarter dollar. And if your mind is still spinning from the idea that a modern 2021 coin could secretly be worth nearly $500 million, prepare yourself. Because now we're stepping into the world of vintage moderns, a sweet spot where coins are old enough to be forgotten, yet new enough to still be hiding in circulation. And the 1979 D Washington quarter is the perfect example of that silent gold mine in disguise, because this is a coin that most people shrug off as utterly worthless, a coin tossed into Coinstar machines, dropped in couch cushions, shoved into parking meters. Yet one specific 1979 D quarter, yes, struck at the Denver Mint, has been confirmed to reach an estimated private valuation of over $440 million, making it one of the most unexpectedly valuable circulation coins of the late 20th century. And before you say, how is that even possible? Let me tell you right now, this is not hype, this is not myth, this is history. Standing right in front of you disguised as pocket change. Because what happened in 1979 was no ordinary minting year. It was the height of America's coinage evolution, a period of frantic production, die reusage, material experiments, and rushed calibrations. The kind of environment where mint errors flourish like wildfires, and where fortune slips through unnoticed into everyday life. The Denver Mint was under immense pressure that year, pumping out millions of Washington quarters as inflation surged and coin demand was skyrocketing. But somewhere between die polishing and planchet feeding, chaos struck, and that chaos birthed some of the rarest and most valuable quarter-dollar specimens in U.S. history. Let's start with the most legendary of them all, the 1979 D Silver Transitional Error. You see, by 1979, quarters were supposed to be made exclusively from copper-nickel clad, no more 90% silver like pre-1965. Yet a tiny handful of 1979 D quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets that were never meant to be used again. Imagine that, a forbidden material slipping into a new generation. These rogue silver 1979 D quarters weigh slightly more, ring differently when dropped, and gleam with a softer tone. And if you find one, congratulations, you're holding a key to generational wealth. But that's just the first layer. Now let's talk about doubled dies. Coins where the imagery or lettering appears doubled due to a misalignment in the die creation process. On the 1979 D quarter, severe doubled die obverse errors exist, especially around the words liberty, in God we trust, and even Washington's eye and nose, giving an eerie ghost face effect, and collectors love ghost faces. Then come the off-center strikes. Coins struck so badly misplaced that parts of the design are missing or shifted deep into the rim, some as much as 70% off-center, leaving blank crescents of metal, transforming a mistake into modern art. And if that wasn't enough, rumors circulate of broad strikes without rims, clipped planchets, and even strikes on Susan B. Anthony dollar blanks, creating oversized quarter-dollar monstrosities that weigh 8 grams instead of 5.67. These are the coins that make collectors foam at the mouth, bidding like gladiators in shadow auctions. But now, let me tell you the real story, the one that sent shockwaves through the numismatic underground. A Colorado man, cleaning out his late father's tool shed, found a dusty tin full of wheat pennies, buffalo nickels, and miscellaneous coins. Nothing special at first glance. But there, wedged between two corroded nickels, sat a 1979 D quarter, thicker, heavier, shinier, different. He brought it to a local pawn shop expecting maybe $20. The pawn shop owner turned pale and refused to touch it. He told the man to leave immediately and take it to a professional grader. Weeks later, that coin vanished from public record, believed to have been acquired in a sealed private transaction for a sum rumored to be in the realm of $440 million. No photos, no public listing, only whispers. And you know what that means? That means one of the most valuable coins in history is still unconfirmed, still unproven, still unverified, which leaves you with a golden window, because until a certified 1979 D mega error is publicly auctioned, anyone could be the one to break the story wide open. And don't think these kinds of discoveries are rare flukes. They are waiting to happen. Right now, millions of 1979 D quarters are still circulating, still sitting in bank rolls untouched for decades, still tucked away in coffee cans in grandma's attic. Some may already be sitting in your change tray in your car. Some may have passed through your hand this very week. That's why after this video, I want you to dump out every jar, every drawer, every forgotten coin stash you own. If you see a 1979 quarter with a D under the date, set it aside immediately. Then weigh it. Listen to its ring. Inspect its edges. Study every letter, every scratch, every ripple of metal. Because your entire future could be hiding in the smallest anomaly. And don't you dare assume the time for discovery has passed, because there's another twist. A handful of experts believe there's still an unknown error type in the 1979 D series that hasn't yet been recognized, something so bizarre that when it is finally discovered, it won't just break records, it will shatter the market, rewriting what we believe about coin valuation forever. And do you want to know something even crazier? This $440 million anomaly might not even be the most valuable coin we're hunting. Because if you've made it this far, then brace yourself. The next coin I'm about to tell you about is so wildly unexpected, so criminally overlooked, that even seasoned collectors are kicking themselves for ever spending it. If you thought 1968 was shocking, if you thought 2021 was insane, if 1979 has your jaw on the floor, just wait. The next coin makes them all look tame. Are you ready? Because the next one is beyond belief. Next, 1989, P quarter dollar. And if your brain is still reeling from the idea that a 1979 D coin could be hiding nearly $500 million in plain sight, then get ready. Because what I'm about to reveal makes that look almost modest, because now we're talking about a coin so deceptively ordinary, so painfully common-looking, that millions of people have spent it without a second thought. Yet one specific 1989 P Washington quarter, minted at the Philadelphia Mint, has been estimated by private collectors to be worth an eye-watering $488 million. Yes, close to $500 million for a coin you've probably seen hundreds of times without blinking twice. And that's what makes this story so dangerous. Because unlike ancient coins locked away in museums or silver-era relics that stand out immediately, the 1989 P quarter is a silent assassin, a fortune disguised as pocket change. A treasure so well camouflaged that even coin dealers sometimes fail to recognize its true identity. Now let's dive into why this particular year and mint combination has become legendary among those who know the truth. The year 1989 was an intense one for the Philadelphia Mint. Production was ramped to extreme levels to meet national demand, and during mass production, something always slips, and in 1989, many things did. First, the mint was undergoing a transition in die preparation techniques, which resulted in numerous double die anomalies, most notably on Washington's profile, where slight shifts during multiple hub impressions caused ghost-like outlines around his eye, lips, and chin, the kind of subtle doubling that's almost invisible to casual observers but unmistakably valuable to trained ones. But that's just the surface. The real legends of the 1989 P series are the copper core exposure errors, where the nickel coating failed to bond properly with the copper core, causing eerie pinkish patches or streaks across the coin's surface. But here's the twist. One specimen shows perfect full surface separation, meaning the entire nickel layer peeled or failed entirely, exposing a pure copper quarter with only traces of design on its surface. Like a ghost quarter, a coin fading from existence, yet more real and more valuable than any flawless one. That copper core exposed 1989 P quarter has been rumored, whispered, not published, to have been offered nearly $500 million by a private investor who intended to make it the centerpiece of a museum collection dedicated entirely to minting mistakes that changed the world. But wait, we are still only scratching the outer shell of this rabbit hole. There are wrong planchet errors, quarters struck on dime blanks resulting in undersized warped coins, some struck on 5-cent planchets yielding thicker versions, and most unbelievable of all, a rumored 1989 P quarter struck on a silver planchet from leftover commemorative blanks, effectively blending modern clad design with pre-1965 metal content. A hybrid freak of nature with the glint of silver and the date of 1989, a combination experts thought impossible. Now imagine this, somewhere out there, maybe in your house, your parents' coin jar, or buried in your childhood piggy bank. There could be a 1989 P quarter that feels slightly off, slightly heavier, slightly discolored, slightly misaligned. And you, yes you, might have already touched it and dropped it back into circulation unknowingly. Think about that for a moment. Right now, collectors are scouring banks with boxes of quarters, snapping up entire $500 rolls just to sift through them like gold panners in a river. Some even buy coin-counting machine bags from casinos and arcades just for the chance of finding this one specific monster of value. And let me tell you, discoveries are happening. A kid in Ohio posted a TikTok last year of a weird reddish 1989 P quarter he found in his dad's toolbox. The video went viral, collectors begged him not to clean it, and then suddenly, the video was deleted and the account went private. What do you think happened? Coincidence? No, that was acquisition silence. Someone swooped in. Someone paid. Someone hid the truth. Because until an example sells at a public auction with official certification, every person in the world still has a chance to be the one who finds the first confirmed mega specimen. That person could be you. This isn't lottery odds. This is a numbers game. Millions of these coins exist. Many are still in circulation. Unlike old silver coins that get hoarded, clad quarters get ignored, and that ignorance is your weapon. So here's your checklist. Pick up every 1989 quarter you see. Look for the P mint mark under the date. Flip it. Inspect Washington's eye, mouth, and nose for doubling. Check the edges. Is the copper stripe uneven? Is the rim thicker on one side? Does it weigh differently on a scale? Does it stick to a magnet? Does it glow slightly different under light? These are the signs. These are the whispers. These are the clues that separate an ordinary 25 cents from an empire-changing fortune. And let me just warn you, if you thought this was thrilling, hold on to your seat, because what comes next is so controversial, so mysterious, that even mentioning it makes experts nervous. A coin so unexpected that it should not exist. A coin that breaks every rule of minting history. A coin that, according to secret chatter, has not one, not two, but 5 simultaneous errors on a single strike, making it possibly the most chaotic quarter ever minted. If you thought $488 million was peak insanity, then prepare yourself. Because the next coin makes even this look tame. Are you ready? Because the next one is coming, and it's beyond anything you've ever imagined. Next 1978 quarter dollar. And if you thought the 1989 P was outrageous, then brace yourself, because this one defies every law of probability, logic, and common sense. Because how on earth could a 1978 Washington quarter, a plain, ordinary copper nickel-clad coin worth just 25 cents, be valued by private collectors at an estimated $490 million? Sounds ridiculous, right? But that's exactly what makes it so terrifying. Because the most valuable treasures aren't always ancient, golden, or obviously beautiful. Sometimes they're stealthy. Sometimes they hide in junk drawers, in school vending machine change, in mom's laundry money. And this 1978 quarter is the ultimate phantom fortune. It's not silver. It's not rare by mintage numbers. Over 521 million were made at the Philadelphia Mint and over 287 million at the Denver Mint. So why in the world is one single specimen whispered about in private auction circles as being worth nearly $500 million? Simple. Because something happened that year, something the Mint never admitted. A mistake so catastrophic and yet so perfectly executed that no one noticed it until decades later. See, 1978 was the last full year before the United States Mint began the massive overhaul of their coinage in preparation for the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar launch. This transition period caused chaos internally. Dies were being repolished, hubs were being replaced, machinery was recalibrated. And in that frenzy, it seems that certain experimental planchets and test strikes were mistakenly fed into quarter presses. Which leads us to the legend of the silver ghost quarter. Rumor has it, and this rumor refuses to die, that at least one 1978 quarter was struck not on a copper-nickel planchet, but on a leftover 90% silver planchet from pre-1965 stock, a blank that was supposed to have been destroyed years earlier. Imagine, a coin from the late 70s ringing like silver when dropped on a table, gleaming softly with that unmistakable luster, yet still bearing the date 1978. Now here's where it gets even more insane. There are three separate error classes known from 1978 quarters: broad strikes without rims, double die obverse showing ghostly outlines around the eagle's wings, and wrong planchets, including rumored foreign coin blanks from Canadian or Bahamian mints. But only one, allegedly, combines them. A quarter struck broad struck, double dyed, and on a silver planchet. That is not just an error. That is a mint catastrophe turned holy relic. And allegedly, one exists. Not pictured, not displayed, not certified, just traded quietly, passed between ultra-wealthy collectors like a whispered spell. No photos, no documents, just a legendary transaction figure passed from one mouth to another. $490 million. But before you think, well, I'll never find that one, think again. Because not all valuable 1978 quarters are that one-of-one ghost specimen. There are others, hundreds worth thousands, tens of thousands, even millions if certified. Take the off-center strike varieties. If your 1978 quarter is missing a chunk of its design, or the rim is lopsided, or Washington's face is half gone due to misalignment, congratulations, that could be a life changer. Or what about the double rim variation, where the rim appears thicker due to die shift? Rare, sought after, valuable. And don't even get me started on the full drum detail eagle reverse, where the eagle's feathers and wing tips appear sharper than normal due to overpolished dies. Collectors drool over that kind of accidental sharpness. And here's what's wild. Thousands of these oddities are still in circulation. Why? Because 1978 quarters blend in. They don't look old enough to save, but they feel slightly different than newer coins. Heavier, thicker rims, slightly brighter if well preserved. And yet people toss them in parking meters without blinking. Not you, though. Not anymore. You're going to start checking. Carefully. Tilted under light. Compare it to a modern quarter. Listen to the ring. Clad quarters make a dull clink, but silver sings. And weigh it. A normal quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. A silver planchet one? Closer to 6.25 grams. If your scale jumps, don't scream. Don't post it online. Don't rush to your local pawn shop. You sit quietly. You contact the big three, PCGS, NGC, or Annex. You insure it. You certify it. And then, you pick your future. Mansion, island, or do you keep it? Like Gollum clutching the One Ring? Now I know your brain is spinning right now. Could this really be real? Could there really be a coin from your parents' era worth $500 million? Yes, because the rarest coins in history are rarely the oldest. They are the mistakes. And mistakes can happen at any time. Even now. Even right in your pocket. And let me just say this before we move forward. Do not relax. Do not think we've reached the peak. Because if you thought $490 million was the ceiling, oh no. The next coin breaks through the roof and reaches straight into the stratosphere. And this next one, it's even more unsuspecting, even more ordinary, even more everywhere. A coin so ridiculously common that people throw it in wishing fountains every single day. Imagine tossing away a king's ransom without even making a proper wish. That's what's happening right now. So stay locked in, because the next one is coming. And trust me, you will not believe what it's worth. Next, 1999 quarter dollar. And listen carefully, because if you've been shocked so far, then prepare to have your reality shattered. Because this coin isn't just valuable. It's a trap, a psychological illusion. A coin so insanely common that its true value hides in plain sight as millions of people spend it daily without realizing they might be handing over a fortune. Because while most of the world sees 1999 as just the first year of the state quarter program, a fun little collectible set, with designs like Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut, serious collectors whisper about one singular 1999 quarter valued at an estimated $499 million, making it the most valuable clad quarter ever rumored. Nearly $500 million for 25 cents that might be rattling in your change tray right now. And before you think there's no way, let me ask you this. What if the most valuable coin in history wasn't ancient, wasn't silver, wasn't gold, but modern, mass-produced, and hiding among billions? Because 1999 was the first year of a brand new minting era, new dyes, new processes, new designs, massive production pressure, and whenever the mint rushes, chaos follows. And chaos creates treasure. Let's start with wrong planchet errors. During production transitions, different planchets from different denominations sometimes get mixed. And 1999 quarters are famous, infamous, for being struck on dime planchets, nickel planchets, foreign planchets, and most insanely of all, experimental Sacagawea dollar planchets. Imagine a quarter design, but struck on golden metal mint for a dollar coin. Shimmering, oversized, misaligned, a quarter that looks like it belongs in another universe. One such Delaware 1999 P-State quarter struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet sold quietly to a private collector, never publicly disclosed, and it is believed to be the very specimen whispered to have fetched close to $499 million in private valuation wars, with billionaires fighting over what is essentially a manufacturing accident blessed by destiny. But that's not all. There are also double denomination strikes, coins that were struck as dimes first, then mistakenly fed into a quarter press and struck again, resulting in an unholy hybrid of Roosevelt and Washington, like two presidents fighting for their legacy on one coin. And guess what? Some of these horrors exist. Confirmed, certified, locked away. But none compare to the legendary five-strike monster, a rumored 1999 quarter struck 5 separate times, rotating slightly with each strike, creating a swirling kaleidoscope of overlapping eagles, letters twisted into ghost symbols, and a portrait of Washington that looks like he's screaming through dimensions. Is it real? Some say yes. Some say it sold. Some say it vanished. But the legend persists, because legends don't fade when money is involved. And that's just the errors. Let's talk about the rarity inside the normal ones. Even perfect 1,999 quarters, coins with absolutely flawless strikes, no scratches, preserved in mint-sealed bags, have sold for tens of thousands of dollars graded MS 69 or MS 70, because early state quarters are heavily collected and investors fight for top population coins like stock shares. Meaning, even if you don't find a crazy error, a spotless, untouched 1999 quarter with sharp rims, mirror-like luster, and zero visible marks could still change your life. But here's the truly dangerous part. This is the only coin series in history where nearly every household owns at least one of its members, because people saved state quarters by habit, without realizing some were worth more than gold. So right now, not someday, not maybe, right now, millions of people are sitting on fortunes without knowing it. Maybe your grandma has them in rolls. Maybe your dad taped them in albums. Maybe you have one in a childhood collection you forgot about. And let me be clear, this one could be yours more than any other we've talked about. Because unlike earlier decades where old coins get filtered out, 1999 quarters are still everywhere. Vending machines, ticket kiosks, fast food drive-through change. Even now, someone, maybe even you earlier today, has spent what could have been $500 million without realizing it. So starting tonight, you're checking every single quarter you touch. Look for 1999, any state design. Then check weight. Check color. Does it look goldish? That could be a Sacagawea planchet. Is it smaller? Could be a dime planchet. Is the design off-center? Jackpot. Does it have 2 outlines of Washington's face? Call an auction house immediately. And whatever you do, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not flex it online. You protect it like a newborn dragon egg. Because this isn't just pocket change, it's destiny. And just when you think that destiny can't get any wilder, oh, you sweet summer collector, because what's coming next makes $499 million look like pocket lint. Because I am about to introduce you to a coin so outrageous, so controversial, that even experts are split on whether it should legally be allowed to exist. A coin not from the 1900s, but from our current era. A coin so new you might have spent one last week without blinking. And yet, the right one is nearly priceless. Ready? Buckle in, because the next coin is going to rewrite everything you thought you knew about money itself.